Hello, welcome to CLSB Politics. Sean Briscoe speaking. This is part 3 of my big, beautiful bill recording. So let's get started. SNAP benefits. Man, this is the hard one. The others were Medicaid the cuts were really bad too. Don't get me wrong, it's all bad, but this one, man, SNAP is like feeds children. It would tighten eligibility requirements for supplemental nutrition assistance programs and require states to cover portions of that. Now, you can understand when they're talking about tightening eligibility requirements, right now, I believe if a woman has children, she makes more than $340 a month, she doesn't qualify. That's not a thing. And SNAP benefits are currently funded by the federal government, 100%. The feds want to share the cost allotment to go from 100% over the next 2 fiscal years to 95% in fiscal 28 and each fiscal year thereafter. Super weird how these Republicans don't want to cut SNAP while they're trying to hold on to Congress. Notice they're not saying let's do this in 26. They're saying we're doing it in 28. Not even doing it in 27, which would, because the Democrats would just point at the Republicans and go, hey, those are the guys who cut this. It's fascinating I look at political cycles. It's kind of my job. This was done on purpose. It also includes language to increase the state 5% share to share the benefit costs in fiscal 2028, depending on their payment error rate. And that's important. So if the error rate is over 6% or higher, the state would be subject to sliding scales that would see its share go from what it is 0% right now to 15 to 25%. So we can honestly say in the poor states like West Virginia, Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, they're done. That if you're poor and your children are just going to starve. Also, SNAP there's a lot of that funding that goes into feeding kids that don't have money for food at school. Now, this is like the most messed up. And you're like, well, where's the money going? Oh, we're going to get into that. And just in case you wanted to complain about any of the predatory programs that are going to be marching through your wallet, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is going to have their budget slashed from 12% of the Federal Reserve System total operating expenses to 5% of the total operating expenses. It's capped at 5%, which is like, cutting their budget by 70%. And this has been a dream of the Republicans because the special interests that own and operate those guys love taking advantage of old people that ironically vote for Republicans. So that protection is going to go away. Let's talk about the debt limit and what that impact is going to be. House Republicans are trying to raise the national debt ceiling to $4 trillion. Okay. Adding $4 trillion to what they already have. Okay. So the reason they're trying to do that is so that they can pay for all of these tax cuts for the uber wealthy and rich, and this is a real problem. The Treasury Department warns that they got to figure this out. They got to get that debt ceiling up to $36 trillion in the coming months. In fact, they said that, that the debt ceiling is most likely, the Congress has to raise it or the government's going to shut down. And you're like, well, when would that be? Is it like a year from now or what? No. It's July. By August, they got real problems. But don't worry, Congress isn't around in August. Cash and extraordinary measures will be exhausted in August while Congress is scheduled to be in recess. That's if they pass this bill, which I don't even think they honestly have the votes for it. I think they're short by about 18 in Congress, including Chip Roy, who doesn't think they cut enough. but they have to pass it or they're going to shut the government down. So let's take a look at governing by the GOP. We're going to take a look at that here real quick. Right after we go through Pell Grant reform for student loans. So the bill would beef up Pell Grants. Oh, that sounds really great, right? For some students, for short-term training programs, or welding, mechanics, plumbing, all, and HVAC, things are very, very important. And we definitely need those jobs filled. Don't get me wrong. But it's going to tighten limits on, anyone trying to become a lawyer or a doctor or something along those lines, which also we need we need doctors, we need nurses. Nurses have to go through a ton of school. All that's going to be tightened or eliminated. And then the plans call for a tax increase on private university endowments. And I'm sure that has nothing to do with Harvard giving the finger to Trump, right? I'm pretty sure it does, actually. And, these private universities, they fund a lot of research and different programs through their endowment. So Trump's this is actually just a personal vendetta thing. It really has no impact. It'll have like a fraction of 1% of whatever the budget is. It's not even a thing. And it would create they want to create the first federal school choice bill by allowing federal tax credits for individuals who donate to groups that provide school choice scholarships to students. So that's federal money going to religious organizations, 100%. It's my dream that I'm a Unitarian Universalist, for those of you who do not know. We're like liberal, left-wing Christianity. We're little J, little G. Yeah. Love to see a bunch of Unitarian churches start schools, because this is something they could take advantage of. Problem is evangelical churches outnumber us about 500 to 1. So even if the good actors and the people who would teach science and evolution and things of that nature, astronomy and math and English and, wouldn't burn books like little Nazis, there just aren't enough of them. Not in Texas anyway, that's for sure. Individuals in all 50 states would receive a stipend to cover the cost of private school or homeschool expenses. So most states have almost no oversight for homeschool. So that's just a big old tax loophole. Oh, I'm homeschooling. Oh, for sure, I'm homeschooling. No problem. I'm spending this much money on it. I want all these tax credits. Yeah, it's not a thing. Funding boosts for Pentagon and deportation plans. I'm about to show you why all of the old people in rural counties have died, why we're not feeding children, why we're cutting in and throwing the millennials and the Z generation and all the young people under the bus financially for school. I'm about to show you why we're doing all that. Well, defense spending would stand to see a roughly $150 billion increase in defense. I'm not saying they're spending $150 billion. I'm saying they're already spending $850 billion. They want to add $150 billion and put it up to $1 trillion for the first time ever. So when you ask, why is grandma dead? Or why do my children not have lunch at school? This is why. That and these huge tax cuts for the uber wealthy. The guys, the corporate CEOs that are getting tips from their customers of $1 million, and it's not taxable because it's chips, right? They didn't put any ceiling on that tip stuff. Remember? All that stuff plays out, and we get a $1 trillion budget for the military. The bill also calls for tens of billions of dollars for Trump's border wall, which, by the way, is defeated by a $15 ladder. Just throwing that out there. And funding the detention, which, by the way, are going to be detentions that are in other countries. Are the Republicans having giveaways of American tax money to prison corporations in other countries employing foreigners? I mean, You can write this stuff. And it's actually, everything I just said is absolutely 100% true. Maybe Fox News will hire me. I doubt it. This is exactly the bill that I thought they would pass to implement all the things they talked about in my Project 2025 series. This is what it looks like. They're going to throw tons of debt on future generations, just like Trump did already. Huge deficit spending, all short term. And it's really going to mess this country up. And it's going to kill a whole lot of people. So if you're into saving lives, call your congressman. Because if they vote against this, they'll be saving lives. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Just want to remind everybody, this channel is not monetized by YouTube whatsoever. So if you saw any commercials, I didn't see any of that. So all contributions are appreciated. All right. You have a good one. I'll talk to you guys later.